Welcome back. Now, last week, the Oxford Dictionary announced that the Gen Z term brain rot was their word of the year.
And coming from the goat of language, it certainly hits different, fam. And here to discuss Gen Z slang is pop culture enthusiast Padraig Wilson McCarthy and linguistics expert Dr. Stephen Lucek. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, fam.
Good morning, bro. Morning, bro.
Bro.
It's bro, not even bro.
Or bra.
Bruh.
Oh, all right,
I know,
lads,
depends where
let's-
you're this item.
Explain to me brain rot. Padraig, what is brain rot? The word of the year.
Yes, the word of the year this year, brain rot. I suppose it's something that's very current now because of the use of online, right? And it basically means it's the deterioration of someone's intelligence because they're over-consuming things online, right? So for me, for example, it would be, when you go on TikTok for a little scroll and an hour later you're still on TikTok and you don't even realise you're on it. And it's not because you're consuming things online, it's what you're consuming. So it's because you're not being overstimulated and what the content that you are consuming isn't very, I suppose, educational or beneficial to our brains. You're losing brain cells, basically.
And do you agree with this selection as the word of the year by the Oxford English Dictionary?
I mean, it's definitely very popular, and like they have a very rigorous process in deciding what the word of the year is going to be. Like they've got a panel of experts, and then it's whittled down to 6 words, and then it's put out to a vote. Over 37,000 people voted in this, and then they analyse the results. But actually, what's really interesting about this word is that the frequency of its usage grew by 230% since last year.
Gosh.
So, like, it is really something that we are using, and I do hear people using it in their day to day. Not just online.
Well, what other words was brain rot up against?
There's loads of them. I know Brat was one of them after Charlie XCX came out with her album.
Yeah.
Demure is another one.
Yes.
Okay.
Demure.
Yeah, very demure.
Explain a little background to demure and why this became so popular.
Yeah, so like that, I think a lot of these words, it's because of online, and we see like TikTok creators and stuff, particularly this one. So this TikTok creator, Jules LeBron is their name, and they've been creating videos for a long time, and they were actually just about to give up on being a content creator when this video kind of just exploded, basically. So she was referring to her look, her makeup, and she described it as being very demure, very mindful, and that's what it means. It means very mindful. Basically, what she was saying was, when she's going to a job interview, her look is very mindful of where she's going. When she's going to the club, it's a different look. So she's just being very mindful of how she presents herself.
What else do you have there?
Oh, go
Sorry,
on.
go on. What were the other words? Just very quickly.
There's loads. Another one is holding space, which is another very recent one that came from the press tour with Wicked. And Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, they're known for being very highly emotional in these interviews and getting quite upset for no reason. And one of the interviewers basically said, I've heard people are holding space with the lyrics of Defying Gravity. And there was this massive overreaction, right? And actually, people online, it's very funny. People online didn't know what they meant by it. No one really
Ariana didn't know what was going on between Cynthia and this interviewer.
Yeah, basically, they've since come out and said, actually, they didn't know what they were even talking about, actually. But the interviewer went on to say it's about, reading into the lyrics and I suppose, holding space with them.
Thinking it, yeah.
I'm thinking brain rot when I hear all this, Stephen. What do you think? Slang is nothing new, is it?
Brain rot, I think it is nice to see there's a bit of pushback because it's the Oxford Dictionary kind of taking themselves a bit seriously, right? And so they're saying, well, there's this phenomenon going on, and dictionaries are always a little bit behind. And this is probably, maybe 10 years behind? When you think about it, people like sort of doom scrolling and just getting caught up with their online space. So they sort of said, well, this is what's happening to our brains, is that we're kind of switching off, which is useful. Like, we are always on. So it's good to have time to kind of not be multitasking, not be all over the place. You kind of lose yourself for a minute.
But Stephen, slang actually kind of serves its purpose, doesn't it? Like Thomas said, it is nothing new. Like every generation has its own vocabulary, and it does serve a vital tool, really, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody wants to set out their own thing, and a lot of our things, our identities, are crafted through the way we use language. So if you are using the same kind of slang terms that your grandparents did, there might be something odd going on, unless it's a reclamation. Like brat. Brat, when we were growing up, brat was a bold child. But now it took on a whole new life, like even just in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Semantic shift is
Well,
what we call
do
it.
you think that we're losing kind of the Irish slang? Something like we were discussing this off air, that our kids are watching a lot of YouTube, watching a lot of American content creators. There's a lot of candy store. There's a lot of like the
Chips,
garbage
yeah.
chips, bruh, you know, coming in. So is this a worry from an Irish slang point of view?
I don't think there's anything to worry about, really. For every American or, sort of TikTok voice slang term that comes into Ireland, we have probably 10 TikTok videos of people explaining Irish slang to Americans.
Okay.
So it's a big space.
Would you worry, though, from a linguistics point of view, that kids are starting to speak with an American accent?
Yeah, it's almost homogenous, actually, that we're losing.
You sound concerned.
As parents.
As parents, when my child
So
is.
tell us we should be concerned, Stephen, please.
They just sound different than us.
Okay.
And also, it's almost like that generation like their own vocabulary, because anytime, like my kids constantly saying Sigma. Is Sigma in your house yet? Everything is Sigma and slay and bruh and like that. But if I start to use those words, they're appalled, Porter.
Yeah.
Can you understand that? They're like, Mom, no!
Yeah, well, maybe they're just trying to talk Morse code. They don't want you to understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
What does
Perhaps.
Sigma mean?
Awesome, I
Yeah,
think,
it's
right?
kind of a good thing.
And like
Yeah.
awesome has totally changed as well from its
Awesome.
original meaning, right,
In
Stephen?
the 1920s, awesome would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
Then it became something big and, awe-inspiring, awesome.
Yeah.
And the super duper awesome that like kind of comes from probably America, that only came in the last 50 years.
Okay.
And you can see generational splits in a very well-known linguistic study on the word awesome.
From a Cork point of view, there's so much slang in Cork. Give us
Yeah,
some
sure, we're in a
Cork
world
slang.
of our own down there.
You are.
Yeah. There's loads of them, actually. When you think about it over the weekend, there's plenty of words down there that I've set up here since I moved to Dublin, and people will be saying, what are you on about at all? Do you know, one of them, for example, is maquilla, which I kind of thought was just kind of a general term. But everyone,
Maquilla?
Yeah, I don't know that one.
maquilla. So like we would say, if you have something that's not real, so if something that's fake, right,
Yeah.
or a fake version of something, you would call it maquilla. Or only last week I said baz. I was going for a baz, which is a haircut. My housemate was like, what is this, So
That sounds like you're going to the bathroom.
yeah,
I
well, it
would've
kind of
thought.
does now. That's a waz, but you know what I'm saying? Similar.
As a parent, obviously, I'm just hearing the baz.
Yeah.
Let us know. What are your kids like? Or is there slang gone crazy? Or they speak in a different language you just don't understand? 0896 111 111. Stephen Lucek, linguistic, and Padraig Wilson McCarthy, podcaster. Great to have you both with us.
Thank you both.
Great to see you,
so
Russ.
much.
Thanks for that.